Right after the battle in the swordsmith village ended, the Demon Slayer Corps continuously investigated the demon's whereabouts. And at this time, the Wind Hashira along with the Serpent Hashira tracked down a deserted ancient castle. According to a swordsman, many villagers were captured and taken there by demons, but upon reaching the castle gate, he found nothing more. Wind Hashira Sanmi heard this and was very annoyed, saying he didn't expect anything from useless swordsmen like that. Luckily, just then the group saw a demon capturing a girl and running towards the castle. So everyone immediately chased after him, not wanting to lose track. But the demon also realized someone was following him, so this guy quickly ran inside, asking his allies for a hand. As soon as they stepped inside the house, all 4 people became highly vigilant, while the demons were hiding around the room, waiting to feast on them. One demon felt the swordsmen were off guard and lunged out to ambush them, but before this guy could even touch anyone, the Serpent Hashira reacted very quickly and sliced off his head. Immediately after that, the demons swarmed out to gang up on the 2 swordsmen and the 2 Hashira of the Demon Slayer Corps. And with the power of a Hashira, Seimi and Obanai cut down anyone who came near them. Wherever they swung their swords, the demons were sliced into pieces. Only the 2 swordsmen who came with them were struggling greatly to fight them, so when these demons were annihilated, the Serpent Hashira reminded the 2 subordinates to go home first. The Wind Hashira also thought that if they stayed here, they would only get in his way. As soon as the 2 subordinates left, the 2 Hashira heard screams for help on the upper floor. The Wind Hashira jumped up and discovered another group of demons waiting there. Using wind-breathing second form, he slashed away the demons in the front row. After that, the Serpent Hashira also lunged forward, using serpent-breathing fifth form. This technique is like a snake coiling around and biting off the heads of the remaining demons. The demon from earlier knew these 2 weren't ordinary swordsmen, so he had to quickly flee. The Wind Hashira saw this and told him to leave his head and the girl he was carrying behind. At the same time, he swung his sword, cutting down any demons blocking his path. Seeing the Wind Hashira was too dangerous, he had to speed up running out of the house. And when the Wind Hashira chased him outside, he encountered another group of demons waiting in ambush on the rooftop. The Serpent Hashira saw this and assigned the task of rescuing the girl to the Wind Hashira, while he would provide support from behind. With that, the Serpent Hashira used serpent-breathing fifth form to annihilate this group of demons with just 1 sword stroke. On this side, the Wind Hashira also quickly caught up to his target and told him to surrender quickly. But his subordinates stubbornly rushed forward to attack him, so the Wind Hashira used fourth form to create a whirlwind that swept all of them away. With no other choice, the demon had to throw the girl back. But luckily, the Serpent Hashira managed to catch her in time. And when the 2 of them tried to chase the demon, he jumped into a place called the Infinity Castle. This space is not only strange but also harbors many other demons. This greatly astonished the 2 Hashira. They didn't know where this place actually was. The Wind Hashira also tried to lunge forward and stab that demon, but the space closed up, sending him and the Serpent Hashira back to the castle. Everything happened too quickly, leaving both Hashira bewildered, because they didn't understand where the demons had just disappeared to. Meanwhile, Kanao was on her way back to Shinobu's butterfly estate after finishing a mission. And just as she arrived, dawn was breaking. Seeing Kanao return, the younger girls gathered around to ask about her, while Kanao quickly went to Shinobu to report her mission to her master. Previously, Shinobu had told Kanao about everything that happened in the Swordsmith village. Thanks to everyone's efforts in Tanjiro's group, the Demon Slayer Corps successfully defeated 2 upper-ranked demons. Furthermore, Nezuko officially conquered the sun, so soon Muzan would try to steal Nezuko to take her ability. Therefore, Shinobu now had to go to the master's estate for an emergency meeting of the Hashira. So during this time, Shinobu asked Kanao to stay home and look after Nezuko. After the life-or-death battle in the Swordsmith village, Tanjiro had partially recovered his health. Although Tanjiro's group defeated 2 upper ranks, he had to admit that every enemy was terrifyingly strong, so returning unharmed like this was a huge miracle for him. Speaking of which, Tanjiro also received news from Goku that the swordsmiths had moved to a new village. It turns out the Demon Slayer Corps had already built a deserted village, so if attacked by demons, the swordsmiths would move there immediately. Since Tanjiro had just woken up after 7 days in a coma, Goku wondered if eating so much was okay. But Tanjiro said that Love Hashira Mitsuri also ate a lot after waking up. Hearing this, Gotu was speechless, because Tanjiro was the first guy who dared to imitate eating like her. While they were at it, Goku also asked about what happened with Nezuko in the swordsmith village. Tanjiro revealed that his sister had taken hesitant steps under the sun, so Tanjiro didn't know if Nezuko was turning back into a human or evolving into a new demon form. And currently, this matter is being investigated by Tameo. Because he accidentally mentioned Tameo's name, the young man pretended to choke on his race so Goku wouldn't ask too much about her. Goku also revealed that the Demon Slayer Corps has been ordered to be on high alert after recent events. Furthermore, the Hashira are also holding an emergency meeting at the Master's estate. And when the Wind Hashira and Serpent Hashira returned, all the Hashira had gathered. Sanmi heard that Mitsuri and Muakuro had defeated an upper-rank demon, so he was very jealous because he had never faced an upper rank before. Meanwhile, Obanai asked about their physical condition after the battle. And when she was cared for by her lover like that, Mitsuri felt indescribably happy. Immediately after that, Lady Aman arrived to preside over the Hashira meeting. She announced that her husband, the Master, was in a worsening condition. Therefore, Aman apologized to the Hashira because the Master could not attend the meeting. Although the Hashira knew this beforehand, they still felt very worried when it was mentioned. And the Stone Hashira represented the group in wishing for the Master's flame of life to burn for longer. Beginning the meeting, a man spoke about how Muzan is trying to capture Nezuko because his goal is to conquer the sun to achieve immortality. Therefore, a large-scale total war between Muzan and the Demon Slayer Corps is about to take place. Furthermore, the lady also heard that the Love Hashira and Mist Hashira had developed a very strange pattern mark after the battle in the Swordsmith village, so she wanted the two of them to recount the circumstances of that mark's appearance. To explain the mark, the lady mentioned the swordsman who possessed origin breathing in the past. At the time they pushed Muzan to the brink, all of them developed a mark called the Demon Slayer mark. Hearing this, the Wind Hashira was very confused, because such important information was only being revealed by the lady now. But the lady said that this was just information passed down orally. Legends about the mark were also unclear, so they weren't considered important at the time. But one thing was clearly recorded. When a person with the mark appears, those around them will resonate. This is a quote from the notebook of a swordsman who used origin breathing. Currently, the first person to develop this mark is not among the Hashira, but it is the young boy named Kamato Tanjiro. The thing is, he doesn't know how the mark, but in the recent battle, the Love Hashira and Mist Hashira awakened the Demon Slayer mark, so the lady wanted the two Hashira to tell everyone everything. First, Mitsuri happily recounted that during the battle, she felt her body was light and not tired at all. Then the inner power within Mitsuri suddenly erupted, so she went all out against the demons. After listening to Mitsuri, everyone felt confused and didn't understand what she was saying. As for the Serpent Hashira, he felt so embarrassed he wanted to pull his pants up over his head for Mitsuri. Next, Muakuro said that he didn't pay any attention to the mark during the battle. But he believed that if certain conditions were met, everyone would be able to awaken the Demon Slayer mark. At that time, Muakuro had been poisoned, leaving his body unable to move, and a young boy tried to save Muakuro with his life. At the same time, Muakuro's memories returned, causing him to be unable to suppress his emotions. At that moment, the Mist Hashira's heart rate also reached over 200, accompanied by a body temperature of over 39 degrees Celsius. Shinobu heard this and was very worried, because moving in that condition was very dangerous to his life. Muakuro believed that the moment of life and death was the time to awaken the Demon Slayer mark. Meanwhile, the lady was wondering about the detail of the 39-degree body temperature, and Muakuro affirmed that this was true, because he had a fever when he was being treated at Shinobu's place. The body temperature measured was indeed 39 degrees, the same as when he fought Upper Rank 5. Hearing this, Sanmi thought it was too simple. So he immediately taunted that only a simple-minded guy would think that way. Currently, awakening the Demon Slayer mark is very urgent for the Hashira, so the Stone Hashira asked the lady to relay a message to the Master that he would take care of this matter. A man only advised that everyone should not be picky about which swordsman possess the Demon Slayer mark, because no matter who it is, they all have to participate in training to enter the final battle. As soon as the lady left, the Stone Hashira felt a bit stuck, not knowing what to do next. And although the meeting hadn't ended, Ju asked permission to leave first. Seeing this, the Wind Hashira and Serpent Hashira criticized him for having very poor manners. Shinobu also criticized Jiu for being a man of few words who didn't explain anything, but Jiu said that this matter had nothing to do with him, so it was enough for the 6 of them to discuss it. Hearing this, the Wind Hashira was very angry and intended to lunge and punch the Water Hashira. The Stone Hashira saw this and clapped his hands very loudly, shaking the whole space, making everyone quiet. And the Stone Hashira wanted everyone to sit down and listen to his opinion. Meanwhile, Tanjiro was receiving intensive care, with food and drink brought directly to him so he could recover quickly. And he was also very happy to know that the young girls at the Butterfly Estate were teaching Nezuko to talk. And the young man Zenitsu returned smiling after completing a mission, and the 3 young girls quickly came to greet him, making the young man very happy. Zenitsu thought that everyone must have missed him while he was away, but the girls said that it was enough that Zenitsu returned safely, and no one had time to miss anyone. Ai then also came out to the gate to greet Zenitsu, making him delusional again. Even Nezuko appeared, shyly saying, "Welcome back, brother," making Zenitsu so happy he started sparking lightning all over the place. The young man immediately rushed over, proposing marriage to Nezuko. He even promised to give Nezuko eel over rice every day after they got married. Nezuko said, "Hello Inosuke," making the young man very angry and demanding to castrate the pig-headed guy right then and there. It turned out that before, Inosuke had stuffed all sorts of things into Nezuko's head, making her remember his name from then on. So every time she met anyone, Nezuko would just say, "Hello big brother Inosuke." At this time, the swordsmith Elder Haganzuka appeared in Tanjiro's room looking like he wasn't okay at all. His hands were trembling continuously. He handed Tanjiro his sword back, and Tanjiro secretly thanked Kotsu because the young boy had attached the Flame Hashira's sword guard to this sword. Seeing the elder muttering about the blade or something, Tanjiro immediately opened the sword case to look, and he was amazed to see the beautifully forged sword. Along with that, there was the character for Destroy engraved on the blade. According to Haganzuka, the person who forged this sword wished to annihilate the demons. Therefore, he only engraved the character, Destroy, on the sword and did not engrave his name. Hearing this, Tanjiro wondered why he didn't see any character last time. It turned out that Haganzuka hadn't finished polishing the sword yet, but young man Tanjiro had taken it out and used it ever since. The elder was still annoyed from that time, so today he had to come here to give Tanjiro a hard time. Seeing the elder was so grumpy, Goku warned that Tanjiro was seriously injured, but the elder didn't care at all, and even demanded that Tanjiro offer him grilled skewers every day to be forgiven. When the elder returned, Genya had a moment of peace, because he had only heard shouting until then and hadn't been able to sleep at all. But just then, the holy Inosuke broke into the room and laughed like a madman, making Genya lose sleep again, and Inosuke happily announced that the intensified training period was about to begin. But the young man only heard that the strongest people would be trained, and he didn't know any other information. It turned out that the Stone Hashira had proposed organizing a special training session for the members of the Demon Slayer Corps. Because in the near future, Musen's actions would be very unpredictable and hard to guess. Furthermore, he is also focusing on hunting Nezuko, because the number of demons is decreasing after the battle in the Swordsmith Villa. Therefore, the Stone Hashira wants to put all their effort into increasing the power of the Demon Slayer Corps in the shortest time possible. This is an extremely important matter, so he has organized this Hashira special training. Sanmi heard this and said that the Stone Hashira didn't need to elaborate, because everyone here agreed with his plan. But currently, the number of Hashira in the Demon Slayer Corps is very limited, so the Stone Hashira will ask some retired Hashira for help. Now, only the issue of the Water Hashira, Jiu, remains. Zenitsu went to Tanjiro's room to check on his friend's health, and the young man could only complain, because he had just finished a mission and now had to go training again. But Tanjiro believed that this was wonderful, because when you spar with strong people, you improve faster. Hearing this, Zenitsu was very annoyed, because he didn't see anything wonderful about it. He even mocked Tanjiro, saying that a guy lying comfortably in a warm bed wouldn't understand how it feels to be about to be tortured. With that, the young man left, not wanting to talk to Tanjiro anymore. But Tanjiro sent his thanks to Zenitsu. He remembered that thanks to Zenitsu teaching him how to use thunder breathing, he successfully defeated upper rank 4. And Tanjiro believed that what he learned from the Hashira special training would be very helpful for the future. Hearing this, Zenitsu immediately turned back with a bright smile. At the same time, he also wished Tanjiro a speedy recovery so he could train with everyone. Sound Hashira Tenjin, although just retired, has returned to train the swordsman in physical fitness. However, his training methods are too harsh, leaving the young men unable to handle the intensity. Even if they were whipped, the whole group couldn't run anymore. On this side, the Sound Hashira's 3 wives saw their husband's enthusiasm and reminded each other to support him wholeheartedly. And they quickly prepared a lot of rice balls and soup for lunch. But after being put through the ringer, the young men had no energy left to eat. Meanwhile, the Sound Hashira was very worried, wondering if the swordsman would be able to endure the next training sessions. It is known that next, they will undergo Muikuro's speed-increasing exercises, and Mitsuri's flexibility exercises. Obanai will refine their swordsmanship, while Sanemi will conduct combat training. Finally, there is the Stone Hashira Gomai's physical enhancement exercise, which will surely leave any young man battered and bruised. Therefore, Tenjin had to prepare the swordsmen with the best physical foundation for them to get through this special training. Indeed, when it was the Wind Hashira Sanemi's turn, every young man was put through the ringer. As for the Love Hashira Mitsuri, although her face was smiling, her training methods made the young men angry. After that, they continued to train in sword speed at Obanai's and Muikuro's place. Finally, there was the Stone Hashira Gomai's physical training, which left every young man exhausted. That afternoon, Hanjiro was reading a book when a crow came and knocked on his door. As soon as he opened the door, it pecked Tanjiro hard. It turned out the crow was here to deliver Tanjiro a letter from the master. It wrote that the Water Hashira Jiu was not participating in the Hashira special training, making Tanjiro very worried. On this side, Lady Aman informed the master about the Hashira preparing for the final battle. And the master's children will surely inherit his will to annihilate the demon lord Muzan. Hearing this news, the master felt very reassured. He thanked his wife for helping him so much throughout the past. Currently, Tamao is living secretly in a crowded neighborhood, but eventually, her whereabouts were found. And while Tamao was researching the anatomy of demons, a crow flew to the window, introduced itself as the master's messenger. While it was searching for Tamao, the master was bedridden and unable to walk anymore. And after observing the young boy Yushiro, the crow found this house. Hearing this, Tamao seemed doubtful, not knowing why the Demon Slayer Corps was looking for her. Furthermore, she was afraid they had done something to harm Yushiro. When she heard his voice upstairs, Tamao felt more at ease. According to the messenger, the Demon Slayer Corps has a girl named Shinobu who is very knowledgeable about demons and pharmacology, so it wanted to invite Tamao to the master's estate to collaborate with Shinobu. The two would research Nezuko's body as well as how to defeat Muzan. Hearing this, Tamao felt extremely surprised because a demon like her was being invited to the Demon Slayer Corps headquarters. Yushiro upstairs felt something was up and immediately ran down to find Tamao. Just because he was going too fast, he almost tripped, and when Yushiro got downstairs, the crow had already flown away. Knowing this place had been exposed, Yushiro immediately advised the lady to leave there right away. However, Tamao mentioned Nezuko's story. Ever since the young girl conquered the sun, everything around has changed a lot. Furthermore, Nezuko and Tanjiro are also like family, so she couldn't ignore them. Therefore, Tamao decided to compile the results of her research and set off for the Demon Slayer Corps base, and she considered this would be her last move. Meanwhile, Tanjiro was still carefully reading the letter the master sent earlier that afternoon. The first thing the master asked about was the condition of Tanjiro's wounds. After that, the master mentioned the matter of the Water Hashira Jiu. This is the time when the Hashira must work together wholeheartedly to defeat Muzan. But unfortunately, the master is unable to walk anymore, so the master hoped Tanjiro could go talk to the Water Hashira on his behalf, so that a pessimistic person like him could be a little more optimistic. And after reading the letter, Tanjiro immediately accepted. The next morning, Tanjiro woke up early, surprising Aoi. She thought Tanjiro intended to participate in the special training, but he said he wanted to go meet someone. And before going to meet that person, Tanjiro wanted to ask Aoi for advice. He asked how to convey his words to someone who is very lonely. Unfortunately, Aoi had no advice for Tanjiro, because if it were her, she would ignore that person too. But Aoi also realized that Tanjiro wanted to cheer that person up, so she went inside to prepare something for Tanjiro. That was a bag of rice balls for Tanjiro and the person he was going to visit, because she thought that if you want to motivate someone, you have to feed them until they're full first. Tanjiro saw this and thanked Aoi, then set off immediately. After walking for a while, Tanjiro arrived in front of Jiu's house and repeatedly called his name. However, Ju stayed silent inside the house and didn't respond. So the young man Tanjiro announced that he would open the door and come in. But the water Hashira thought he had misheard, thinking Tanjiro must have given up and gone home. And when Tanjiro peeked his head through the door, Ju's eyes widened in surprise. First, Tanjiro told him about the swordsman participating in the Hashira special training. And in 7 more days, Tanjiro's injury leave would also be over, so Tanjiro suggested that Ju train him in swordsmanship. But Ju refused as soon as he heard this, because he was very annoyed that Tanjiro couldn't master water breathing. Meanwhile, Tanjiro's mission was that he absolutely had to become the water Hashira in the Demon Slayer Corps. Tanjiro thought that his changing breathing style made Ju unhappy. But what he meant was that the position of water Hashira was currently vacant, so they needed someone to fill that spot soon. Hearing this, Tanjiro was very confused, because Ju was the current water Hashira. But Ju said that he himself was not the water Hashira and chased Tanjiro away, not wanting to talk to him anymore. Of course, Tanjiro didn't give up, because he had promised the master, so Tanjiro took the bag of rice balls to Ju's door and invited him to eat together. He said that just eating until you're full would make all your annoyances disappear. Seeing Ju didn't open the door, Tanjiro left the bag of rice balls outside his room. That evening, Ju went down to the training hall and saw Tanjiro sleeping there instead of going home. And although Ju still acted cold, Tanjiro was very happy because he had eaten all the rice balls. So the young man immediately followed Ju while he was patrolling. At the same time, he repeatedly urged Ju to return to headquarters to participate in the new special training. Early the next morning, Tanjiro was calling at his door so loudly that Ju couldn't sleep. Even when the older brother was bathing, Tanjiro didn't leave him alone. And after a few days like that, Ju was so annoyed. He couldn't let this younger brother follow him around forever. So he decided to tell Tanjiro his whole story. Ju recounted that he should never have passed the Demon Slayer Corps final selection exam that year. Ju participated with a young man with pink hair named Sabito. He was like Ju, as both their families were killed by demons. Furthermore, both were around 13 years old, so they quickly became friends. Sabito himself was a kind and loyal person. Unfortunately, during that year's final selection exam, only Sabito lost his life. From the moment it began, Sabito alone used water-style techniques to annihilate all the demons on the mountain. But in the end, everyone who participated in the exam passed, except for Sabito. At that time, Ju was still panicking from the first injury caused by the demon. At such a dangerous moment, Ju was saved by Sabito. Using water-breathing fourth form, Sabito easily took the demon's head with just one sword stroke. Seeing someone screaming for help in the distance, Sabito entrusted Ju to the care of other comrades. After that, Sabito ran alone towards the screams to rescue those in danger. By the time Ju woke up, the final selection exam was over, and it was true that Ju had survived for 7 days. So he passed the exam. But in reality, he hadn't killed any demons, only waited for others to save him. Therefore, Ju felt that he wasn't worthy of becoming the water Hashira. He even thought he wasn't qualified to stand on equal footing with the other Hashira. From the beginning, Ju felt he didn't belong in the Demon Slayer Corps, so he advised Tanjiro to quickly return to headquarters to participate in the special training. Furthermore, Ju couldn't awaken the Demon Slayer mark, so he advised Tanjiro not to follow him anymore, so he wouldn't waste time. After hearing Ju's story, Tanjiro understood the pain he was suffering. Perhaps Ju was thinking that he should have been the one to lose his life, not Sabito. And when Sabito was mentioned, Tanjiro immediately remembered that he was the young man who had trained him before. It was a strange experience, because Sabito should not have been alive anymore. Assuming Sabito was still alive, he would be around Ju's age now. And Tanjiro believed that Sabito would definitely become an excellent swordsman, because he saved all his comrades during the exam, something Tanjiro couldn't do before. And Tanjiro understood that this was why Ju thought he was the one who should have died, not Sabito. Previously, Flame Hashira Rengoku also sacrificed himself to protect Tanjiro's group on the Infinity Train. He saw that Rengoku was truly a very strong person and maintained his will until the very end, so sometimes Tanjiro thought he should have been the one to lose his life, not Rengoku, because if he were still alive, defeating Muzan would be much easier. But Inosuke believed that the Flame Hashira had placed all his trust in the three of them, so no one was allowed to disappoint him. At this moment, Tanjiro didn't know how to advise Ju. Perhaps he had blamed himself and gone through many hardships before becoming a Hashira. But no matter how sad Jiu was, Tanjiro still had to ask him one thing. So he walked along with Jiu, leaning on his cane, and asked why he wasn't following what Sabito had entrusted him with. Hearing this, Jiu flinched, remembering Sabito's slap in the past. Before, Sabito had angrily told Jiu to immediately give up the idea of sacrificing himself for others. If he couldn't do that, then from now on they would break ties and no longer be friends. Before, Jiu's older sister, even though she was about to get married, sacrificed her life to protect him from demons. So Sabito didn't want Jiu to disrespect her efforts. Therefore, Jiu was forced to live to fulfill the future his sister had entrusted him with. Now, when he remembered that slap, Jiu still felt pain. He didn't understand why he had forgotten the important conversation with Sabito. Perhaps he never wanted to remember those sad memories again, because every time he remembered the death of his sister and close friend, he felt sad and helpless. But now, thanks to Tanjiro, Jiu finally understood everything, so he secretly apologized to the two of them for being immature. Seeing Jiu stand still for a long time, Tanjiro thought he had said something wrong that made the older brother angry. So the young man suggested Jiu participate in an eating competition to cheer him up. Although Jiu is always quiet, in an eating competition, he doesn't need to say anything. So Tanjiro immediately challenged Jiu to an eating competition with cold noodles and dipping sauce, which also surprised him. Immediately after that, the two brothers went for noodles and slurped them down competitively. And while eating, Jiu asked Tanjiro what Shinobu was teaching in the special training. But Tanjiro had just been in bed for the past few days, so had no information. Meanwhile, Shinobu was kneeling in front of her sister's altar, asking her sister to help her stay calm and control her anger. Just then, Tena arrived and informed her master that she was preparing to go for special training at the Wind Hashira's place. And Kana wanted to participate in training with Shinobu as soon as the Stone Hashira's training finished. But Shinobu said that she would not participate in this Hashira special training. Hearing this, Kana felt a little sad, because she really wanted her master to teach her more. And seeing Kana express her true feelings like that, Shinobu also felt very happy, so she thought this was the right time to tell Kana something important about the demon that killed Shinobu's older sister, Kenny, as well as how to defeat that demon. The Sound Hashira Tenjin's special training had left the young swordsman incredibly tired, and although he kept shouting continuously, it seemed no one had the strength to run anymore. Seeing a young man running like a turtle, he immediately corrected his posture and made him run faster. The Mist Hashira said that if they didn't improve their physical strength, they shouldn't even think about the next stage, and as soon as any young man looked tired, he would immediately correct them, so the swordsman considered this special training nothing short of hell. Alright, that's the end of our look at episodes 1 to 3 of Demon Slayer Season 4. Things are just getting heated, so if you don't want to miss the next twist, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell like Tenjin Uzui smashing a demon's face. Thanks for hanging out, and catch you in the next one.